Hey guys, Brent with Bring Your Own Tools, aka BYOT. Thank you for joining me, and today we've been working on a huge project, as in my backyard, and it's not looking so good right now. We are literally going to be starting from the ground up, so we are going to be weeding, then adding soil, then tilling, then trenching, then a sprinkler system, then seed, everything in between. Let's get started. Like always, let's talk about materials. First off, you need a wheelbarrow, garden tiller, shovel, rake, a hammer, wood stakes, reciprocating saw, a screwdriver with one screw, some type of string, spray paint, and definitely get a pair of gloves. These aren't all the tools you need, but it'll get you started. Lo and behold, my beautiful backyard. It is just so inviting and enticing to everyone. Not so much. As you can see, this backyard needs a lot of work and has been neglected for a while, so let's get started. The first step of this entire process is just getting the backyard cleaned up. I'm using a rake to rake up all the loose debris. Then I'm going over the entire area with my garden tiller. Now this garden tiller actually does come in quite handy because all you have to do is place the tiller over the weed, put a little pressure on it, give it a little twist, and there you go. Loosens up the weed itself and allows you to pull it out much easier. I prefer going through a large section with the garden tiller and loosening up all of the weeds, then getting on my hands and knees and start pulling. Now, the pulling aspect of weeds is not fun at all. It's as fun as pulling weeds. Yep, that is why they say that. In any case, it is a necessary evil and you have to do it, so get to it. Now once you have pulled all of your weeds, I go through one last time with my rake and just clean up the area just to make sure we get all the necessary items out of the soil that we do not want in our final product. Now I know you are just watching a guy pull weeds, which I'm sure is not very entertaining, but in all reality, this is the beauty of time-lapse because this literally took me all day long. And in just 2 minutes you saw a backyard go from horribly disastrous to dirt. And not to scare anyone, but just a heads up, you might be getting a few blisters. Yeah, that was a good one. Now on to day 2. We are going to be leveling out the backyard today. And first off, we are going to be taking our screwdriver and our screw and screwing it to the retaining wall I built, and then attaching a string to that screw. Now I know all backyard projects are different, but with my backyard, I have a concrete patio as well as a wood retaining wall I built earlier last summer, and I'm trying to make sure everything is nice and level. So I have attached that screw to the retaining wall about 2 inches up from the ground, and then with the string and a little bit of help, I am able to figure out exactly where are the low spots and where are the high spots. I'm marking a line on the stakes in which I need to fill to, and with the spray paint I am marking where the high spots are that I need to reduce down. Oh, it is shoveling time, so grabbed my shovel, grabbed the wheelbarrow, and started shoveling out and excavating all the high spot areas. I am then taking that soil and dumping it into the stake area in which I need to fill the low spots. I'm basically just dumping the soil into the stake area and then figuring out exactly where my height needs to be, and then I can start just raking over those areas and following the nice little line that I made earlier. Now through all this fun excavation and leveling, you might come across a nice large root, which I did. Oh, the treasures that we find. Now we do have to remove this root because of the fact that it's higher than the grade that I want it, which is why I'm taking the reciprocating saw, cutting the strong end, and then taking my shovel and shoveling out this root. Now this was a pain in the ass because of the fact that this root just kept on going, but I'm glad I did it in retrospect because of the fact that it needed to be done. And guess what? It's on to day 3. Yay, soil! And as a quick side note, make sure you try and get this material as close to the job as possible because the fact that the closer it is, the less distance you have to travel. Look at that beautiful black gold richness. Oh yes. And there you have it. Big pile of shit right here. Have it delivered. There's plenty of stores, especially a lot of planting stores around, that actually do delivery for a nominal cost compared to what it would be to just pick up this amount. Make it easy on yourself. Now is the time to truly start shoveling. If you do have any friends or any individuals that unfortunately have to help you, do so now because the fact that this is a lot of shoveling. Now if you need a soil calculation sheet to know how much yardage you actually need, talk to someone in your planning department or look online, and there are a plethora of sheets out there. I found that the best tool to use when trying to level out this material is my trusty rake. I use the fork side to actually move a large amount of the dirt around, but then once I wanted a nice smooth finish, I use the back side of it to go over the entire area. And as a final note, make sure you have at least 3 to 4 inches of topsoil over your existing substrate. Okay, so I got really close to finishing, but I did not get there quite. I mean, I got 14 yards, and that's what I have left. Fuck you, you pile of death and destruction and agony and pain. Dear goodness, that was a long day. But in any case, I got the vast majority of it done. Just have that little bit right there to finish up tomorrow. And you know what? We can take care of that tomorrow. But on to day 4. Now we are finishing up wheelbarrowing the rest of the soil and smoothing it out to a nice smooth finish. And guess what? Brent even has a little bit of help today. And you know what? Just a little bit of help makes this process a lot faster. Now a few other items that you have to pick up at the store is obviously some seed, some lime, and some fertilizer. I'm first applying the lime to the soil evenly. I have approximately 2,000 square feet of yard, and so one bag takes care of 2,000 square feet, so perfect. Now once that's taken care of, it's time to broadcast your fertilizer. I'm using this fertilizer and seed spreader, which is perfect for this project, and it just allows you to spread out the fertilizer evenly and precisely. Now it doesn't have to be perfect because of the fact that you're going to be tilling this all together here shortly, but you want to make sure it gets a nice even coverage. And of course only the very best for my backyard, so I got the extra heavy duty tiller. Just make sure your switch is on the on position and give it a good crank and start tilling. As a side note, this tilling is not an easy job. This is my first time ever using a tiller, and it's like trying to hold back a herd of wild pit bulls or Dalmatians or ferocious bulldogs. You know how crazy those things are. As you're tilling, you want to hold back the tiller. This will allow the tiller to get into the soil deeper. If you don't, you might only be going over the first couple inches of new topsoil, but you want to till the existing soil as well as the new topsoil that you just applied. On to day number 5. We are installing our new Rainbird sprinkler system. Now, quick note, I actually knew I was going to be installing the system prior to pouring this slab on grade, which is why I put a PVC pipe underneath so I could actually transfer the hose up to the hose bib. Now the first thing I wanted to do was figure out the placement of my sprinkler heads. Based on the directions, I was able to anticipate exactly how far my sprinkler heads could travel and where I should be placing them. I placed a string on the stake itself and used spray paint to actually allow me to figure out exactly how far each sprinkler head would actually reach. Now time to start trenching. This process is actually pretty easy at this point because of the fact that the soil itself is so loose and you don't have to go down very far. Now Rainbird actually already came out with a great installation video, so I'm not going to go over this process in detail, but a couple notes. First off, it's pretty difficult to get those pieces into position when cutting them, so I'm actually using a heat gun to soften it up and then installing the actual piece itself. That makes it a lot easier. Once you've completed all of your trenching, installed all of your pipe, and installed your sprinkler heads, why not try and test it out? All you have to do is install and turn on the control panel. I'll leave a link below to the Rainbird installation video just to help you guys out. And there you have it. Look at that. A sprinkler system that actually works. Well, not quite. You do have to do some adjustments. And at this point, Brent was a pretty happy camper, so I was just singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. Okay, on to day 6. We are going to be leveling out this backyard now, and I put together this makeshift 4x6 piece of equipment in which I will be pulling it across the yard. Now, this will help get up all the small little areas and items that we roughed up via the tiller or the sprinkler system. And this was extremely helpful, way more helpful than I thought it was, so I would highly recommend you guys putting something like this together. Just makes it a lot easier on yourself. Now once that was complete, I went and picked up a lawn roller at my local equipment rental store. It was extremely cheap to actually rent, and it was easy to use, so I highly recommend getting one of these. All you have to do is fill it up with water and start rolling. Now when empty, this thing is probably only 15 pounds, but when full of water, it's over 200 pounds. So it definitely makes a difference when you're doing your final compacting. Just watch out for those sprinkler heads and not trying to go over them with a 200-pound roller. I went over the entire yard a couple times in both directions just to make sure everything's fully compacted and ready for seed. Now there's a number of different species of grass that you can actually purchase. Depending on where you live and the climate that you have, one might be better than the other, but the vast majority of the mixtures out there have a mixture of different types of grass in it. So keep that in mind when you're purchasing your grass seed. The main and most important thing when applying seed to your yard is making sure you have enough seed. Now you're going to be putting down a ton of seed, way more than you think you need, and the vast majority of people out there will say that you need 5 to 7 pounds of seed per 100 square feet. When you're done planting seed, your backyard should look like this, a lot of seed. Once you're done applying your seed, it's important to put a bit of soil on top of it. One, we do this because we don't want the seed to blow away if we have a bit of a windstorm, and two, this traps moisture in. So once you start watering your lawn, this traps the moisture and allows the seed to germinate, and once it germinates, you don't want it to dry up, because if it dries up, it's dead and you're dead. Once all your soil is applied, go ahead and take your rake and just do a once-over with it. Not a big intensive rake job, just trying to make sure that everything is evenly spread out. And on a side note, I must say I have some mighty fine moonwalking skills, if I don't say so myself. Once that is complete, go ahead and go over it once more with your lawn roller just to make sure everything's nice, flattened, and not going anywhere. And you are done, other than turning on that magical sprinkler system you just installed. Make sure you're watering it every morning and night, as well as during the day if it's extremely hot out. And there you have it. After 1 week, you should have some type of growth as long as you keep it nice and moist. And look at those cute little baby seedlings. Oh yes, they're just so cute. Yes, they are. And after 2 weeks, you should have something like this. And look at that beautiful, sexy beast. There are a few bald spots, but you know what? Those will fill in the next couple of weeks. And there you have it, episode number 8 of BYOT done. Good to go. That was a really large project, and hopefully you guys got a lot out of this video. I scoured the YouTube universe and really couldn't find a good video from start to finish on this whole backyard project, and that's why I do this channel. That's why I love it. Thank you for your time. Please like this video, please subscribe to this channel, and please let me know what you'd like me to do in my next video. I might do it. In any case, thank you for your time, and catch you next time. Number 1 direction when using your tiller, make sure it's in the on position. Yes, the on position. Oh, jeez. Or maybe it's that. I'm retarded.